Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, joined by your host, Jeff.
I am your host, Jeff, joined by Mark. What up, Mark?
Hey, Jeff.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, kids. Jeff, before we get into what we watched this week, tell them what the theme is this month.
Okay. The theme is Family Matters, as you so eloquently coined, which basically means movies featuring blood relatives. So last week we had that epic Tom Hanks film where he was in every scene. The great Buck Howard, right? And his son Colin Hanks was in it. So this week we watched the movie Donnie Darko because it stars Jake Gyllenhaal and his sister Maggie. It runs for an hour and 53 minutes. It's rated R. Came out in 2001. Stars Mary McDonald as well as Holmes Osborne. Patrick Swayze makes an appearance in it. And, Drew Barrymore. I forgot Drew Barrymore's in it too.
Seth Rogen makes an appearance. Noah Wyle makes an appearance.
Who?
Noah Wyle, the Pit, doctor from ER.
No idea who that is.
Oh, come on. He's only got the hottest TV show out right now.
Yeah, I don't.
You've never heard of The Pit?
I don't watch it. I've heard of The Pit, but I've never watched it.
He's the lead in The Pit.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So is all he got is medical thrillers?
Yeah, really. What do you need? You got ER?
Was he a doctor in this?
Yeah, no, 100%. But this, so
was he a doctor in this?
Oh, no, he's not a doctor in this. I thought you were talking about The Pit.
Who was he in this?
No, he was wasn't he the science teacher? He was one of the teachers.
Okay.
He was one of the teachers.
He looked familiar. He was the one who was discussing time travel with Donnie?
Yes.
Okay.
So, so this is a cult classic, right? We can't call it a classic, but we can call it a cult classic because it does have an immense popularity amongst kind of movie nerds.
Damn, he's just coming in hot.
We would be
two guys on a movie podcast talking shit about a movie. What's wrong with you nerds?
No, but so we'd both seen this before. However, it's been a long time since we both saw it. I'm actually speaking for you. I actually don't know when the last time you saw it was, but
I saw it in 2001.
Okay, so. It's been almost that long. I saw it very shortly after it came out. And I didn't remember a whole lot of the real story here. I knew it was, science-y and time travel-y and, but like so much has been made over this movie about, hey, what is the actual theme here? What is this movie an allegory for? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and honestly, I had no desire to go watch this movie again.
Okay.
None. So I went into this movie just kind of like, I got to get through it. And about midway through, my interest got piqued, and I was like, this is interesting. I don't remember this. And then about 3/4 of the way through, I'm like, I don't know if I hate it or if I actually like it. And then by the end of the movie, I was like, that was interesting. And I really still to today don't know if I actually like or dislike this movie.
Okay. I'm with that. That's not a bad place. We're going to discuss it, and maybe by the end of our discussion, you'll have figured it out.
Yeah, probably. So
we'll see, because at some point you're going to need to recommend or not recommend.
Yeah, and I'm a big Jake Gyllenhaal fan, right?
Yes, you are.
I am documented on the podcast as being a Jake Gyllenhaal fan. I think he's immensely likable in most everything that he does, and he comes across as kind of just like an everyday guy, even though he's wildly successful, very handsome. Just he's got a great smile and just all this stuff. And so in this movie, and he's a teenager in this movie, and he's acting opposite his sister. I really didn't like the character of whatever the fuck this kid's name was.
Donnie Darko, the name of the movie. Were you that out of the loop that you can't even know?
You
Who
know,
was the main character in Indiana Jones? What was his name?
touche. Good. Appreciate you. Bringing up the rear on that one. Yeah. So like when the rabbit guy Frank, I remember that guy's name, but when
Insane.
when he takes off the mask for the first time and they're in the movie theater, and he tells Donnie to go burn the guy's house down. That was the moment where I was like, ooh, what's going on here? Because his eyes all shot out, and like Donnie's just like brooding, but also sleepwalking. But also, is this movie an allegory for schizophrenia? Who knows?
I do. I don't. So let me tell you my story about Donnie Darko and the first time I watched it. So it was a Friday night, I think, or a Saturday night. Me, a couple friends were outside the movie theater. We were going to go watch a movie. Nothing looked appealing. We're like, I don't really want to watch any of this. One of my friends goes, have you guys seen Donnie Darko? And none of us had. We were like, never even heard of it. So this may have been later in 2001 because we went to the video store and rented the DVD and went back to my friend's house and watched it. Now, of course, the guy who recommended it, he already loved the movie. And then my friend who was there watching it for the first time was like, that was great. And I was the only one who was like, did we watch the same movie? That was horseshit. It didn't make any fucking sense. And I've held for many years a resentful opinion of the movie Donnie Darko. If someone brings it up and I know them well enough to know that they won't take me that seriously, I'll be like, that's a piece of shit. Fucking doesn't make any sense. It's just a big bag of ideas with no extra structure. It sucks. Watching it this time, it was nowhere near as convoluted as I had built up in my mind. I had thought it was like The Fountain, the Darren Aronofsky movie, where it was just all allegory and nonsense and, oh, I'm fucking turning into a tree today. I thought it was all that. But in this, they actually do characters and there's an arc to the story. And it does leave you with a bit of like, what the fuck? But I think that most of the basis of it is pretty good. It's about this troubled kid going through life, a time in his life. And I think that from that perspective, it works really well. Also, the moment I really kind of started enjoying this was really early on when they had the suck a fuck.
How does one
conversation
suck
at the dinner table.
a fuck?
Yeah. Really, I just, those two Gyllenhaals together really kind of brought it together. And I thought that was one of the best scenes. So I'll say, like, from a dialogue perspective, I love what they did here. I think the dialogue is really sharp, really funny. That's one thing I didn't remember about the first time I watched it. I was just so, like, out of my head that I didn't catch how funny this movie is. There's a lot of stuff, like when he's talking to his therapist and she's like, how did it feel when you were denied these hungry hippos? Like, that's good shit. And there's several more lines and stuff like that in the movie that are that funny. Great character moments, but it is really just kind of, in a way, sort of a mystery, but also not. And and I don't fully understand the time travel that happens here, because the whole thing is this airplane piece falls in his bedroom. And the first run through is him living through that.
Right.
And in that future that he lives through, his mom and sister on a plane, and I guess the jet engine goes through a wormhole And that plane starts to crash, and that jet engine lands in his bedroom like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But, and that's what kills him in the past.
No, see, all right. It's so like I really, and I don't mean to interrupt, and I don't mean to stop your synopsis of or trying to explain this.
Well, please help me understand.
No, I really think that the movie's not about time travel. The movie's not about existential dread of, the world ending. I really think that this is one of those movies that, regardless of what it actually is about, whatever you think it's about is probably the right answer. And those movies are weird. It's because, and I hate to say it, is because I know we hated it, and it's one of the worst movies we've ever watched on the pod. But The Fountain's probably in the same breath of like, hey, whatever you think that was about, you're probably right. And I understand the difference here from what your explanation was here than The Fountain is, because it was all allegory of The Fountain, and there's at least a plot.
Fountain doesn't
here.
make any damn sense.
Right.
And there was no like continuous narrative to it. Whereas this, you're following Donnie.
Yeah. But
and
at the
you're
same
trying to figure this out along with.
But at the same time, does Frank exist, right? Frank the kid, that Donnie shoots in the face exists, and Frank the kid who at the end of the movie lives, because they're now in a parallel universe, or that was universe 458, and we're now in universe 7223.
What if Frank, when he died? No, that doesn't make sense.
Right. But see, that's the thing. That if you start trying to dig into the movie about like, hey, what is this actually? Is it actually time travel? I just think you get lost in the weeds of what the movie is, and like you said, the movie is about this teenager going through the motions, falls in love with a girl, and shit starts to derail on him. I do actually think that this before mental health was cool to be talked about, I think this movie, it was trying to say something about mental health and about, this kid's mental status. And I just, if we tried to explain what we thought of this movie and like what the plot was and all this, we're just going to be talking in circles, just because we're going to get to a point where we're like, oh, that shit didn't make sense, or no, that's not right.
Every time I try to start to explain it, I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Which is kind of my problem with the movie, and the critique that I had on my first play watch and this one was still kind of the same. But I felt on this viewing that the human characters popped better for me. And I kind of got to where I liked Donnie. I liked watching Donnie burn down Patrick Swayze's house. There's a point in the movie where, he's talking to his girlfriend, Jenna Malone. What's her name? Jenna Malone,
Yep.
Who's in Saved, which is a fantastic film. And she's like, Donnie Darko, that's like a superhero name. But then he has these sequences where he kind of is a superhero when he burns that guy's house down.
Yeah.
Which I kind of appreciate.
Yeah. But then, like, Frank tells him to flood the school. Okay. I mean, is he trying to kill the bullies, right? I don't know, so there's...
No, I think it's... So, like, to me, Frank is almost like this... because Frank died.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's...
And
like,
then
every time you
he
start
went
going
back
down...
to the past and saved Donnie, like, got him to leave his house and wake up in the middle of the street the day that the engine's going to fall through his roof. And he comes home and he gives him essentially a chance to live out these 30 days.
Right.
Which aren't his best days. They aren't bad days. Like, he gets to spend a lot of time with Jenna Malone and fall in love.
Yeah.
And they get to hook up. And then she gets ran over by a car by Frank.
Right. and then that starts the motion, like all
It starts to loop
right.
over again.
But so like one of the popular theories
We're
online,
gonna get comments on this episode for real. Like this movie is one of those ones where they're like, those fucking idiots
right,
are so stupid.
right.
And I welcome it. Please engage.
One of the more popular theories behind this movie is that when Donnie leaves his bedroom for the first time, and goes sleepwalking, at the beginning of the movie, and the jet engine crashes into his house and doesn't kill him, that is the moment that spurns off all of these other timelines, right? And that's what causes the wormhole and all this. And so this theory of, Donnie inadvertently creates all of these things by just sleepwalking, is pretty popular. Because after we watched the movie and I sat with it for a little while, I was like, let me go see what other people are fucking saying about this fucking shit. And I mean, if you can think of it, there's a theory about it in Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
And in those movies, it's cool when movies do that. I regardless of what I think about this movie, I do think it's very cool when a movie is so open-ended that it spurns all of this, like Inception's one, and then
well, that's kind of like the end of American Psycho.
Yeah, it's
like, did he kill people? Was that real?
Right. So and the narrative in this movie is held together pretty well. There are some times where I'm just like, wait, what, why is he doing that? Did the fucking rabbit tell him to do that? Oh no, he's just doing that. But like the narrative is pretty held together throughout most of the film. And that helps when you get to a point where you're just like, well, what was this movie really about? And you start thinking about it and go into the rabbit holes of, all this shit. And, was the rabbit death? Is Frank really death? Is he trying to get Donnie? Is Donnie a serial killer? Who knows? But like, I think it's really cool when a movie is put together well enough that the narrative can stand on its own and you can ask all these questions and you have all the answers are correct.
Yeah.
And for that, I'm glad I watched this movie. I'm glad I watched this movie again 20 some odd years later. Is because I would have never gone back and watched it. I can tell you that for a fact. I would have never gone back and watched this movie.
Neither of us. And I did it for the interesting conversation because I felt like, I mean, one of the things is that I'm a vastly different person than I was from back in 2001.
Yeah.
And I thought that there was a chance I would enjoy it more. And I definitely did enjoy it more than the first time I watched it.
Well, and that's, this movie came out in 2001. And so it's almost 30 years old. And, the fact that anytime you say Donnie Darko to anybody that really has any interest in film, they're always, you either get the eye roll or you get the wide-eyed look of, I need to talk about it. And that's why we watch movies, is to be entertained and hope that we can spur a conversation off of it. And there's characters in this movie I did not like. I didn't like Seth Rogen and the other bully. I didn't like their characters.
I liked Seth Rogen. I did not like the other character, but that might just be because I like Seth Rogen in general.
Right.
But it was a very freaks and geeks aged.
Yes, it was
Seth Rogen.
I didn't enjoy Jenna Malone. I
thought she was fabulous. Personally.
Drew Barrymore's in this movie for very little, but for what? I don't know. She's a producer on this movie, so that's weird. That was interesting. So she probably put some money behind it, but it's just like I I want to watch movies that are going to A, make me think, and two, allow me to have a conversation about it, to where, we can have these our conversations are open ended, is because there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, and it's like, oh, you thought that about this movie? Oh, that's interesting. Let me think about that. And it's just like, we've watched so many movies. I've watched so many. I know you have too. Is that we watch so many movies that are just balls, and there's
I've never seen a movie that's balls.
It's a pile of shit.
Yeah,
and
I have watched balls movies. I was just being an idiot.
Yeah, but you don't. You take for granted movies like this, I think. Not you specifically, but you, the listener in general, takes for granted movies like this is because they don't come around all that often. And we just kind of named a couple off the top of our heads, but there's probably not very many more like that. And so while I did enjoy Donnie Darko's parents in this movie,
yes,
yeah,
even all the supporting cast is really good too. I love the neighbor lady who delivers what is in the Donnie Darko circle, the classic line of "I'm beginning to doubt your what does he say? I'm beginning to doubt your loyalty to Sparkle Motion."
Yeah,
I'm gonna get flamed for getting that wrong, but
yeah.
it's just a classic line.
Yeah. And like that, and that whole sequence, that whole dance sequence was very good.
That was great.
And so I don't. There's things I didn't like about this movie. I didn't like that how it was shot, where it was purposely made to look like kind of like an '80s film, even though
it takes place in the '80s.
Yeah, but it didn't have to. It didn't have to be shot the way it was shot, to be set in the '80s. I guess that's what I'm saying. I didn't necessarily want to feel like I was watching an '80s film, even though it was set in the '80s. And so that I didn't enjoy. But I don't think I like Jake Gyllenhaal's performance. It's just because we've seen him in a lot of different things, and he's very charismatic in a lot of different things. But here in this movie, he is just not.
No, man, there's just this look that's on his face throughout parts of the movie. Is so good.
I mean, he's very much somebody listening to voices, right? And this is young Jake Gyllenhaal, so I'm not holding his really his performance against him.
I thought he was fantastic.
I guess I just didn't like the way. Maybe it's the way that this guy Richard Kelly wrote the character of Donnie.
Well, I feel like you definitely didn't like the character.
Yes, no, I didn't. And maybe Jake Gyllenhaal was just playing the character how it was written to a T, and that's how it comes across. But let me ask you this: what was Tom? Katie Holmes, right? So Maggie Gyllenhaal or Katie Holmes?
Oh, Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Oh,
every single time for every situation at all times.
8 days.
Unless
out
we're
of the
talking
week.
about who we put on the fire line, then we go the other way. No, she's head and shoulders. It's not. I felt like we had this discussion on our dark.
We might have. We might have had this.
And it was just we both are like Maggie Gyllenhaal. What are we talking about?
Yeah,
it's not even close.
She's
so good in this movie.
She's good in everything she does, actually. She's older than Jake in real life.
And in the film.
And so I thought that was good. They didn't try to make them like twins or some shit or whatever. I do think that and I don't know how old Drew Barrymore was in this when this movie was made, but they probably could have made her the girlfriend. I don't know. I just don't like Jenna Malone. I'm really nitpicking about what I didn't like. It's just one of the, and it is a little long in the tooth. I think they could have cut out some stuff. This movie doesn't really need to be 2 hours to tell the same story and have the same similar narrative to it. But I just like.
What do you cut out if you want to shorten it?
I think you could cut out a lot of the Frank shit. I mean, honestly, I mean, you could just make it like, this rabbit is just popping up and he can just hear voices. He doesn't have to go meet up with the rabbit at different locations. And like the movie theater scene, I thought it was a little long and it didn't need to be as long as, and I get it. Like that's the reveal of who Frank is. Again, that's probably a nitpick, is because the more we talk about this movie, the more I really like it. Yeah, and I think I like it more because of how open ended it is. I think that's really why I like this movie.
That's fair. I generally don't like ambiguous endings, but I felt like when when Donnie dies at the end and the airplane thing falls on him, and that Mad World cover of the Tears for Fears song comes in, it's really excellent. And I felt sad that Donnie had died now. I felt like I got to know the character, and sure, he's not a guy I'd probably hang out with, but I found him to be sympathetic nonetheless. So it did actually have a bit of an effect. I certainly liked it more now than I did when I watched it, 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And I feel like that's, if like I was to show my daughter this movie, who's 16 now, she would probably be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then
you got to be a certain level of angsty.
Yeah.
I think if you show it to the right angsty person, they'll be like, oh
yeah,
that's parents don't get me, man.
But at the same time, a lot of the themes and a lot of the stuff that it's maybe speaking about, those are more mature themes than just your typical teen angst. And like, I mean, you could say like, it's Groundhog Day, right? And Donnie lives these 28 days every 28 days. And maybe this the end of the movie is just one of the endings that allows things to maybe go back to normal. Maybe he escapes the paradox or whatever. And so like,
well, I think the back to normal is he was supposed to die.
Yes. Yeah, right. I mean, I think that's probably the baseline of the theories, is that by Donnie living at the beginning of the movie, all the shit happens and everything is set in motion. And by him, I don't think he goes back in time. I think there's a conversation about time travel in the movie, but I don't think he goes
He
back.
does not.
Right.
But I do think Frank does.
Yeah, that's another, is Frank the keeper of time, like the timekeeper.
He's like a ghost,
right? Or
like a ghoul. He'd been killed.
Well,
he had unfinished business for accidentally, which I don't know.
I mean, one of the main theories is that he's the Grim Reaper. That's
No, Frank's not the Grim Reaper.
Shh.
To me, Frank's a real person that lived. Frank was the guy who wore that bunny suit as a Halloween costume. He ran over Jenna Malone, got shot in the eye, and died. That person was Frank.
Yeah, but is Frank the mask wearer demon bunny?
Now, could it be someone else as Frank? No.
Which is fine.
Maybe.
And you're probably right. But so am I. So who cares?
I'm probably right when I say maybe. Yeah, I still don't understand.
It's not, and that's it's not meant for you to understand.
Just go on YouTube and watch Explained.
I'm
not going to do it.
There's so many Reddit threads. I mean, if you want to spend a day just learning about all the theories of Donnie Darko, just go to the internet.
But I really want to just be ignorant of it and never go back.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I
I
think
did movies, so I'd rather watch Paddington 2 and feel love in my heart
yeah, for
and
sure,
life
for
than
sure,
watch this.
for sure.
Not that it's bad,
Right.
but it's not my style of thing to unpack. I like unpacking a movie, but I don't like trying to figure out what the fuck happened. And that's the part where I'm like, what?
So
Like trying to explain the time loop and all that shit.
yeah.
That's where I fall off.
So Jeff, do you recommend Donnie Darko?
No, I still there's enough there that I get it now. Though I can say that I get it. I get why people like it so much. It is still not for me, so I won't recommend it. But I also now, as opposed to before, respect people who like the movie as opposed to shit on their views. But those people I'm talking about are generally my friends, and they know I'm fucking around. Because I like Van Damme movies, and Van Damme, is not a good actor. People could shit on me for that, but
Well,
and I welcome it.
I want to recommend it.
What the fuck?
I think our conversation kind of spurred me in the recommendation side, but I do think that these type of movies do need to be seen by everybody, not just most, by everybody. So you can, even if you don't get it, and like you watch it and you're just like, that was a pile of horse shit. Well, you're probably right. But your buddy that you watch it with, or your significant other, or whoever that watched it with you and goes, man, I love that movie because it's the greatest movie I've ever seen. Well, they're probably right too. And that's, who are we? Who are we to say anything about this movie? Is because
We're Jeff and Mark, bitch. That's who. Respect it.
I do think that these type of movies need to be seen, is because they don't come around that often. They're
When they do, sometimes they're the fountain, and they suck.
What
What happens in 20 years if we come back to the fountain? We're like, you know what? I get it now.
Then
I'm
we're
not gonna watch it.
profound older gentlemen, and it might be like allegory for our own death. Like, we're laying on death's bed, and like we finally watch the fountain again, or the fountain's playing on the hospital TV.
I'm
and
going to put the fountain on if I'm ever in palliative care. I just put the fountain on. You hate that movie. Is that really what you want to do at the end of your life? I told Mark I'd do it. Put that shit on.
And then with your dying breath, you finally understand it.
I get it.
Yeah, right. Listen, what
Jeff,
better way to go?
Jeff, tell me the secret of the fountain. The secret is.
Yeah.
That's how I'm gonna go.
It's great. Watching these types of
The
movies.
fountain is great.
No,
What?
no. The process of having a film that is not meant to be understood, maybe, and no, The Fountain's still the worst movie we've ever watched for this podcast.
Yes, it's awful.
But Donnie Darko is not.
No, it's not. It's a good movie.
And so I'm going to recommend it.
There we go.
And, it's fine. But, Jeff, what are we watching next week?
Well, we're going to watch from 2023. Stars Uma Thurman, Alexis Linkletter, Joe Manganiello, and Maya Hawke. That's your connection there. Maya Hawke is the daughter of Uma Thurman. Let's hope they're in more than one scene.
Can't make promises.
Nope. At least my movie hit the theme, but I had seen it before. So we're going to watch The Kill Room, which I've never seen before or heard of. It's got Samuel L. Jackson, so it's definitely a film.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a film. When I picked it, never heard of it. I just saw that Maya Hawke and Uma Thurman were in it, and so I was like, yeah, let's watch that one.
Let's watch it.
It'd be fine. Yeah. But what else is fine is if you're watching on YouTube, you hit the subscribe button when it pops up. That makes sure you don't miss any future content here on the Movie Draft House YouTube channel. And if you want to follow the podcast on your favorite social media platforms, You can find us at Movie Draft House. We're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and right here on YouTube. Jeff, tell them where they could find you.
You can listen to my other podcast. It's called Chronologically. We're almost done with Stephen King. So now might be the time to jump on as we start our season on Star Trek films very soon.
Yes.
Yes. I'm excited.
Yeah. Jeff, any last words?
Yeah. We put the cum in computer. Huh? How's that for